Hi, I'm Pharaoh King, and you are tuned into the movement.
This is America. Don't get you slipping up.
.xyz. So, my friends, I have a conversation for you. We're going to get it in. This conversation, man, we're going to be talking about the firmament. We're talking about the dome for which we may be living under. Now, there's a lot of things that's always conflicting with words that's coming from people of certain places. Scientists say, right? But you never know what the hell the scientist's name is. But they reference scientist says all the time on the news. And rarely do we get a name. So, awkward. Anyway, I want to talk about the firmament a little bit. You know, I'm not going on some type of flat earth tirade, And I just want to say this though, man. I think it's very interesting what's possibly true and what's possibly not. Because if you're biblical,
taking an idea I got from a Stephen King book, I'm going to cover this town with a dome.
It's been done.
Really? Did you know about this?
there's a lot of reference in the Bible that's talking about the firmament, right? Okay? So, in the beginning, there was light. There was darkness. He gave those two names, right? So, in that case, if he created the heavens and the earth at the same time, could we actually be in the dome?
Bam, bop, bada bop, boom, pow.
Or, right? Because I believe that the Bible was kind of like it's like the blue book, you know? It's like an extraterrestrial book or something, you know? And there's always like hidden codes and strange things talking about wheels and floating and discs and all type of stuff. Let alone the Vatican stores, I don't know how many thousands of archives, maybe even millions, that is unseen to the public. That's pretty strange. So, what I'm getting at right now is, man, do your own research, man. You don't have to trust me, you don't have to trust nobody, but do your own research, my friends, because something in this world is definitely different. So, without further ado, let's get it.
Now, one thing I really want your generation to embrace is that the Earth is a closed system.
The Earth is a closed system.
Well, the Earth could be
You cannot leave the Earth. Right? There's no place to go.
Now, a lot of scholars are out there today suggesting or demanding that the word firmament is simply an expanse. It's the expanse of the air, the atmosphere, and the vacuum of space.
The illusion.
You heard that before? The firmament is just an expanse. Anybody heard that before? I hear it from my detractors all the time. Funny thing is, the Hebrews and the Greeks disagree with that, especially the Hebrew scholars that took their Hebrew text and translated the Hebrew into Greek. So these are Hebrew people who understand their Hebrew culture, their Hebrew scriptures. They took the Hebrew words and translated them into Greek for the Septuagint. And the word that they chose for the Hebrew word rakia, when they translated it into Greek, was stereoma. And that word, the origin of that word, is a combining form borrowed from Greek where it meant solid, used with reference to hardness, solidity, three-dimensionality in the formation of compound words. And when you just look at other online resources such as blueletterbible.com, look up the word rakia, you'll see right there it's an extended surface, solid, expanse, firmament, expanse, flat as base, support, firmament of vault of heaven supporting waters above, considered by Hebrews as solid and supporting waters above. Over and over and over again, you see that the Hebrews understood it to be solid. The word rakia comes from a root word raka. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing these words wrong. And when you look up that word, that root word, It talks about to beat, to stamp out, to spread out, to stretch, to stamp out, to beat out, like when you're pounding metal. Spreading metal out by beating on it. I don't know how you can beat on air to create an expanse. And
Whoa,
Job, which I
that's
believe
crazy,
actually predates
dude.
Genesis,
Are
comes
we
right
in
out
the
and tells
dome?
you. In Job chapter 37, verse 18, picture translation.
God,
I grew up in the King James.
demons,
So the King
if I had a
James
third hand,
says, hast thou
aliens.
with him spread out the sky, which is strong as a molten looking glass? What's a molten looking glass? It's a mirror made out of beaten down metal. I mean, Job comes right out and tells you this thing is hard.
Because the thing is, the scientists are literally saying that they're bouncing signals off of the sky. Now, their excuse is saying it's a shell of electrically charged particles, but this seems to be their excuse and their only way to describe what they are witnessing. Because if you think about it with common sense, the air is supposed to be thinner the farther you go up. And so how are they possibly bouncing signals off of the sky? You see, satellites do not exist. They're just bouncing signals off this reflective dome firmament. The reflective properties of the dome firmament is part of the reason why you see rainbows, sundogs, and more. Because according to my research, the dome is most likely some form of reflective material.
In Egyptian mythology, Nut is the goddess of the sky. She is seen star-covered, arching over the earth, representing its dome. In Greek mythology, Uranus was the primeval god of the sky. The Greeks imagined the sky as a solid dome of brass, whose edges descended to rest upon the outermost limits of the flat earth. Uranus was the literal sky, and Gaia the earth. In the Roman era, he was often depicted as Aeon, god of eternal time, in the form of a man holding the zodiac wheel, standing above Gaia. The Hebrews believed the sky was a solid dome. They called this solid vault of heaven the Rakia, with the sun, moon, and stars beneath. In Indian mythology, the dome is called Brahmanda. This is the structure of the world according to Finnish mythology, showing a dome with the stars projected onto it. In the Aboriginal conception of the world, the earth was circular and flat, covered by the dome of the sky, which stretched out to the horizon. And there have been many ancient artifacts found, which the mainstream has called stone handbags. But as you can see, there's no area to even carry anything. These were not handbags, they're artistic depictions of the dome here on flat Earth. So many ancient peoples knew about this dome and wove it into their worldview. The elite would have us believe that these are just made-up cosmologies, invented by peoples who were too scientifically ignorant to understand reality. But there is no coincidence that the same description of a flat earth and dome is so common. These cultures around the world had special knowledge about the nature of this place we are living in.